My friends, it is the final segment of this November 15th, 2011 edition of Infowars Nightly News. And I can't think of any news or information that I've ever covered in the last few years that shakes me up as bad as this information I'm about to cover, because it really shows that the foregone conclusion of total collapse that Jim Rogers talked about last night, that Ron Paul's talked about, isn't just coming, it's pretty much arriving. The train is pulling into the station. And that we've seen the pension funds of the troops stolen by the big insurance companies. We've seen tens of trillions paid by American taxpayers to prop up derivatives. We see the euro going down. And now we're seeing more and more runs on banks. Bank of America, I mean, the list goes on and on. It is so scary to know how right we've been. And it's very poignant. A synchronicity, serendipity, I don't know, that Gerald Celente, probably the top trends forecaster in the world, has with precision predicted exactly what's happened. We're in the collapse. The system's still denying it, but everybody knows. That on the same day it came out in Fox News, and we have a graphic of this, MF Global may have been sick for a while, and buried in the article, it says $600 million is still missing from customer accounts. Gerald Celente had gold that he was taking physically delivered, that he was taking physical delivery of, and they are telling him he's not going to get it, that they've gone into bankruptcy and it's been taken by the trustee, when they know whose physical gold it is. And they break down the facts here. The reason this is such a big issue is Gerald is a prominent media analyst and geopolitical analyst, and it happened to him. What are the numbers? I mean, he's 1 in a billion. Imagine if it happened to Gerald Celente, how many other people this happened to, not just with MF Global, but with other companies. And the fact that they're acting like this is normal, and they're not going to go to jail like Bernie Madoff, and the fact that the big boys, like Congress, are now admitting they're involved in insider trading, giving government contracts to companies their wives and husbands own or that they own stock in, and the fact that they say they're above the law and that they're allowed to, I feel like I'm in the twilight zone. I mean, I know the white shoe boys, the kleptocrats, the prostitutes, all the terms that Gerald has coined or promotes, are criminals. But my God, it's like Jim Rogers said last night. You heard about crony capitalism in Asia. This takes the cake. And Homeland Security is their system to protect their diabolical, premeditated heist. They have engineered this, and they don't care if you know, and they're just getting started. Over $100,000. He's not going to say the full number. It's over 6 figures of gold that's been his for months, trying to take delivery, and they said, you're not getting it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is bombshell. And Fox News is one of the only outlets reporting it, and it's just a minor footnote. You know what? 600 million's missing, and it turns out they've got all these billions and millions of dollars that they've got in other assets. They're just stealing the actual gold from the depositors. This is too much, ladies and gentlemen. We now turn to Gerald Celente, who just learned very recently, we'll find out exactly when, but he announced it today, that he has literally had his gold out of his account robbed. Bank robbers. And if he complains, maybe a SWAT team will drop by. Folks, no one is safe. No one's accounts are safe. Gerald Celente, I mean, this is off the charts insane. Did I get it right? Correct anything if I was wrong.
Yes, you got it essentially right. And I've been saying this a long time. You know that they're going to impose some level of economic martial law. And I thought, of course, it would be in the banks, that they're going to call a bank holiday of some sort and devalue the dollar. But what I did is I had an account, and I've been trading gold, by the way, Alex, since 1978. I've never had a problem. What I do is like airlines and grain companies, you buy futures. And I buy gold futures. Some people speculate with them. I buy futures with the intention of taking delivery. So I had enough money in my account, and I had contracts that were coming due in December, which is next month. Last Monday, I get a telephone call. Again, the company I used to deal with was called Lind-Waldock. Bypassed me. I never realized that they got bought out by MF Global. Didn't make any difference. Been dealing with them for years. As I said, I've been around commodities a long time. Nothing of this type ever happened. So I get a call. I have a margin call. That means I don't have enough money in my account to support my gold positions. I said to the guy, what are you talking about? Yeah, I'm taking delivery at the end of the month. I got a ton of money in my account. Oh, no, you don't, Mr. Celente. The money has been taken out of your account. I said, who agreed to take it? What are you talking about? He said, well, Lind-Waldock is owned by MF Global, and they decided, the CME Group and another party, that they're going to take the money and put it with a trustee. I said, oh, yeah, you mean the Meyer Lansky Group and the Al Capone Group decided to take all of my money out of my account and then ask me for a margin call to put in more money into a sinking ship? I said, what, are you out of your mind? I'm sorry, Mr. Celente, that's all we know. If you don't come up with more money, we're going to close your accounts, your positions. So now, Alex, they have my money, they close my positions, and I can't get any of it. Now, let's put this into perspective. The guy that was running this operation, John Corzine. Hey, where did John Corzine come from? Well, he's originally a Goldman Sachs guy. You know, one of those fine people out there. And then he became governor, senator of New Jersey. That wasn't good enough for him. Gave it to New Jersey really good. I'm going to become governor. So he becomes governor and senator of New Jersey, runs that place into the ground. And by the way, Corzine, if you're listening, you know that car accident you got into a while ago and you almost died? You SOB, you should have died because you ruined a lot of people's lives. Stealing their money. You know what he was doing, Alex? Because he's connected with the boys. You know, they give him preferential treatment, trading rights. Oh, the guy that runs the Commodities Future Trading Commission? Gary Gensler. Gary Gensler. Hey, he gave Corzine, I think, $10,000 for his campaign. It's a contribution, capisce? Yeah, it's a bribe and a payoff. Gary Gensler runs the Commodities Future Trading Commission for the United States of America. And they let these guys get away with all these dirty deals as they're pulling them off and bringing everybody down. So now Corzine, he's going to play, according to reports that I read. You go to Las Vegas over there, Alex, and you go put $1 down on the table. And you say to the guy dealing the cards, that's not $1, that's $40. That's right, that's what the house said I could bet. Every dollar down, I could make a $40 bet. That's what he was doing. So now what happens is brilliant Corzine's betting on European bonds. You know what's going on in Europe. The bond market's going berserk. Italy's on the verge of going Greek, with the bonds hitting over 7%. You look at what's going on. He bet on Portuguese, Irish, all the losing bonds, Spain. So now the bet in total, as I read it, it's about $40 billion that this guy's controlling. The shortfall that they can't find is $600 million. The CME Group that runs the commodities game, they've come up and they said, we'll cover $300 million. So now we're talking about a $300 million shortfall out of a $40 billion pie, and they steal everybody's money out of their account. You tell me what's going on, because my suspicion is they don't have the gold and silver to deliver.
That's it. Well, that's what Max Kaiser and you and many others predicted, was that they were going to end up being short. But my God, the boldness of this to actually not deliver your gold, and then you have all these other positions, and then just say we're going to shut down your account, and I guess let you then go negative on those. I mean, I don't know where you stand, but this for me, studying history, correct me if I'm wrong, Gerald, is a new level of naked corruption, just in your face hubris that is off the charts, and we see it all over the place. But here you are individually, well over $100,000. You won't say the number, it's over six figures. You say it's over 100,000. It's your gold. They have stolen it out of your account. And then we know that Bank of America's moved $79 trillion in derivatives into the taxpayer-backed FDIC, and there's no way to pay this back. It's their debt. Their whore media, though, is going to say that, well, it's America's debt. You've got to pay it. We don't have it. So they've got to know that as this comes out, it's going to fully destroy confidence. But because the crooks at Goldman Sachs and the rest of it have their people over every major government, where does it end? Do they just, we all get thrown out of our houses and are homeless, except for the cops manning armored parapets with the bankers laughing behind them? I mean, how much criminality do we have to see? I mean, it's such a bold move to steal your money. And then to admit it, and it's a minor footnote.
I know, they're doing it worldwide. Look what's going over there, as I said, in Italy. And see, here's the scam that's going on. As the systems keep collapsing, one keeps blaming the other. You saw Obama blaming China for keeping its currency artificially low. China keeping its currency artificially low? How about public enemy number one, Osama bin Bernanke, devaluing the dollar? And that's why I've been buying gold all these years. And by the way, I buy coins, I buy bullion, and I buy for possession, all of it. But I also, because of my retirement account, I have also money in ETFs. And I'm afraid I'm going to lose those too. So now I'm taking those, cashing out of those, and also trying to secure that, because they are going to steal all our money.
Gerald, I told my wife last week, and I want to hear what you recommend. We have about 4 months of operating capital to run the 35 employees and contractors, the building, everything. That's not very much for folks that don't know, who aren't in the news business. But some places are actually, you know, upside down. At least we're not that way. And people helped us out. People subscribe in this horrible depression. They support us. But me and my wife were talking. We're like, what do we do with the backup capital for this place and the little bit of capital we've got for our own family? Most of it is in gold and silver here and there, but it's not that much. What do we do with a little bit of cash we use, you know, to be able to pay bills and things? And I told her, I said, we've just got to get it all out. We've got to have the bare minimum, because they're going to take it all while they're stealing it by devaluing it. But again, that was my next question for you. What do you recommend I do? What do you recommend others do? Because this happened to you on 9/11, where they wouldn't let you have your pension fund, or wouldn't let you have your 401k.
CDs. I had my money in CDs.
Yeah, CDs. So A, what would you do if you were Alex Jones, A, and other businesses? But B, what does this signal that it's getting so bad that A, the media is not even really covering it, just a minor footnote, and B, it even happened to you? I mean, my God, how big do you think this iceberg really is?
It's huge. And I'm a very cautious investor. You know, it wasn't like I'm a high-roller speculator. I've been building my positions very slowly with the intention of taking delivery, and they took the money out of my account. I'll tell you where my position is. I wrote about it in the Trends Journal. It's there in black and white. I recommend that people have only operating expenses in their bank. Why do you think you hear all of these stories over the years about people putting their money under their mattress? Because the banks are going to steal it from you. And, Alex, I don't want to use that word banks anymore. Let's call it by its proper name. They're loan sharks. That's all they are. They're loan sharks. Can anybody say those words? Stop calling them bankers. because that's all they are. That's all what this is about. Austerity measures in Europe. The loan sharks want their money. Who made the bad bets? You're asking the people who lost their jobs, that never had jobs, that have degrees in worthlessness from coming out of school and being in debt, to bail out the bankers that made bad bets. That's all this is. Look who, as I said, look who they put in charge of running Italy now. The wonderful technocrat, Super Mario Monti. They call him Super Mario. How about three-card Monty? Where did he come from? The Trilateral Commission. Another Goldman Sachs guy, by the way, just for the record. Yeah, how about calling Italy Government Sachs? And who's the clown that they just put over there from Greece? Oh, the wonderful Greek democracy. They brought in, quote, a technocrat and all of the prostitutes. The New York Times, the Financial Times, the Wall Street Journal. What respected men they are. He comes from the European Central Bank. He was the vice president. The banks are taking over. The loan sharks want their money. That's all this is. So what I'm saying, for me, only operating expenses. I have a secure place, not very far away, but far away enough where I put my money and my possessions that no one will find but me.
And you got to carry a heater, and you got to be physically trained and ready to
blow anybody's brains out in a second that tries to come into my life and break in. You know, I'll make it really clear. I will protect my rights. If my life is threatened, I'll take anybody's life that tries to take mine.
Gerald, you hit on something key here. The media always demonizes old-timers. Old-timers were just the generations before us that had already been through this over and over again. They knew how to farm. They weren't going to let any government bureaucrat come around and boss them around. They had guns, and they weren't playing games. And they didn't want any government help in all this bull because they had lived through it. And now we're about to find out those old-timers weren't stupid like the corporate whore prostitutes told us they were. They were smart, and the general public was conned, because it's clear now. How bad is this depression going to get, Gerald? And then I want you to get into what are you planning to do to these creatures over here at this company, MF Global. What are you going to do to these people? Because they're so arrogant now. They've obviously been, like we learned 11 years ago, Prudential and others were told. This is Bloomberg even reported this last year. Nobody got in trouble. For those that didn't see it, the major insurance companies got together with the Department of Defense and said, we're going to trick people with a form we send them telling them, get your husband's death benefits if he died from World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Gulf War I. We're going to get that money. We want those trillions. And the U.S. government said, yeah, thank you. We're going to help you steal that money. And then they steal the death benefits. I mean, Bank of America's on record taking houses, forget not having the deed that they never even owned part of. I mean, people, when Gerald says it, he's not just saying it. These are actual above-the-law criminals with the entire Department of Defense backing them, and brainwashed police who have been hired in the psychological evaluations because they're mentally ill bullies. Not all of them, but that's who they're trying to recruit. I mean, folks, it's like Jim Rogers said. He said yesterday, get out of the U.S., but where are you going to run? It's Nazi Germany, it's Soviet Russia, but it's America style. Gerald, I know I'm ranting, but where do you see things going, and how do we fight back? Obviously, we pull our money out. I've got to get behind this now 100%. I mean, this is out of control. And what do you do to these people who arrogantly say, you're not getting your money, and Mr. Celente, we're shutting your account down. You got that? I mean, that is just, man, these people are arrogant.
Oh, yeah, they're arrogant because look who they are. And look at John Corzine. You know, they just shut down a whole bunch of New York City one time. As a matter of fact, I think you were there when they were doing it one time as well, when Obama came into town.
Yes.
Yeah, John Corzine throwing these $35,000, you know, a ticket dinner to go sit down with Obama. They're all one of the boys. Anybody that breaks the rules a little bit, The goons come in, put you in handcuffs, throw you in jail. Corzine walks. $600 million they can't find. He's fine at home. How come he's not in jail until they sort this out, like they would do to you and me? Because he's one of the white shoe boys, a member of the Goldman Sachs gang. I want to make this really clear, Alex. I'm going to say it over and over and over again. If the names on Wall Street were named Celente, Caruso, Mondavi, Puccini, Rossini, they make it a great mafia movie. Hey, Sumner Redstone. That's right. Or is it Rothstein? How about doing a movie on the Wall Street gang? I've had enough of The Sopranos. I've had enough of Jersey Shore. How about doing one on the Wall Street gang and name their names? Because I'm sick and tired of you and these other cheap SOBs running Italians into the ground. If Corzine's name was Celente, you SOBs would be making a mafia movie over it. But no, you read the New York Times. Oh, it's a sad day for Corzine. His pride is so hurt. Oh, it wasn't bad enough losing the governorship. But now, of course, he has lost some face in the investment community. That's the way they handle it. How about going, you know, Bloomberg cleared out Zuccotti Park. It was, he said, an unsanitary condition. You want to see a lot of crap, Bloomberg? It's up to here, right down the street on Wall Street. How about shoveling up that crap? This is a lot of baloney, Alex. Fascism has come to America. I've said it over and over again. The merger of state and corporate powers, it's worldwide. Super Mario, the banker, is taking over in Italy. Another clown banker has just taken over in Greece. And the bankers have already taken over America.
And by the way, Gerald, in 2002, we got the IMF World Bank documents where they plan to bring down Europe first, then Asia, then the United States. They're just imploding each country as they move along. And my issue is, how much, I mean, will we put up with? We've got the government shipping guns into Mexico being caught so they can try to attack the Second Amendment. We have lamp poles being put up by Homeland Security with microphones listening to us. They're groping small children. They're putting TSA checkpoints on the road. Meanwhile, the people serving the system are having their whole future destroyed.
Here's what I recommend. Pull your money out of the banks. Take it out. What are you getting for keeping your money in the bank?
Zero.
Zero. Why would you, and what are they loaning it out at? You're late on your credit card, they get you for 30%. You're giving them your money so they can make money on you. Number two, all this Black Friday crap. They're making people work on Thanksgiving. Don't buy anything from the chain stores. I keep saying it over and over again. Break the chains, because as long as you keep supporting them, you're going to be chained by them. Support the workers. They make the workers in this country seem like we're a bunch of losers and that we're lucky to have jobs by the good graces of the corporations. Break the chains. Don't buy a damn thing you don't have to buy this Christmas. How about, hey, how about this for a wild idea, Alex? How about celebrating Christmas? I don't want to get in trouble for this. In the spirit of Christ. How about giving from the heart? How about going out and helping people that need help? How about every gift that you give the loved one, try to make it, bake it, do something yourself. Don't go out and buy a bunch of plastic crap that a kid is never going to use and you don't need.
Well, Gerald, listen, as you know, until the 30s and 40s when they commercialized it, Christmas was about cooking with the family, making candy, fudge, cookies. It was about going down and helping the poor. I mean, I'm not saying my family's perfect, but most Christmases, we would actually go down to the Salvation Army. We would actually, and let me tell you, that was a lot more valuable than some cheap toy to go down and see homeless people and serve them soup all day and help them out. And the fact that people would look at that as so wonderful, that's not wonderful. That's what people always did. That's what Christmas was. You know, just like the Christmas Carol, it was about helping Tiny Tim. But it's the opposite now. You're right. We go into debt to these banksters, buying a bunch of crap we don't need and we can't afford, made in China. So I agree. If we do buy stuff, it should be from little arts and craft stores, made in America. At the same time, we went to the beach and got a bunch of seashells that we've painted. We're going to give to family as soap dishes. I'm not saying I'm great or something. The point is you're right. That's what Christmas is really about, family time and helping people. By the way, I've got to stop you, Gerald. It just broke in Reuters. It's just now coming out in the last hour that the federal government, in fact, go back to that last headline. There's a headline from Forbes. MF Global, where did the money go? And then there's another report from Reuters saying that the CFTC has a dim view and believes it may be nefarious. Commissioner suspects nefarious MF Global activity. Gee, I wonder, in the last few days, give us the timeline when this happened to you, Gerald, but I looked it up before we went on here. Others have been reporting this the last few days. They've stolen the $600 million to cover their bad casino bets and just tell you, go fly a kite somewhere. But now the government is saying they have a nefarious view of this. I mean, I guess if I go rob a bank for $600 million a day, will they a couple days later say, oh, the CFTC has a nefarious view of what Alex did with his shotgun? Gerald.
Yeah, that's it. Again, you know, it's the two-tier system. As I said, the word justice, everybody's spelling it wrong. It's J-U-S-T-U-S, just us. There's no justice out there for these guys. As you said, yeah, oh, Alex Jones committed a nefarious act. Let's see how it plays out. Boy, they'd have you down on your belly with your hands behind your back with handcuffs on that you're losing the circulation in your arms if you turned any dirty deal. But for the other guys, let's see how it plays out. And I want to go back to this, Alex. We can break it. The people can break it. And this is the way it can be done. This is the Christmas to bring Christmas back into the spirit. Let's start breaking the chains. As you said, buy from local craftspeople. Buy whatever you like, but make sure you're buying quality. It's made in America, and you could afford it. Don't buy one thing from the chains. Do you realize that Walmart has 10% of all the retail action in this country? When I was a kid growing up, there were stores everywhere that people used to own. You could have your own business. Imagine that. You didn't have to be a clerk or a cashier when you grew up.
And by the way, you get horrible service at these big box stores, too. Back when we had all these choices, if people didn't give you service, they went out of business. So we had a higher service economy. When you pulled up, they had entry-level people to check your car, check the tires, check the oil, and give you some service. And they've done studies that actually cars break down more now because you don't have that service. But Gerald, I want you to finish up there, but I want to put a quote back up here. The hundreds of millions of dollars missing from MF Global accounts may have disappeared 4 days before the firm filed for bankruptcy at the end of October. You need to be interviewed by Forbes and others as one of the victims. You can give them more intel. They're running around at Forbes and Reuters just in the last hour and a half. This is breaking. I guess you broke it first on RT earlier today. They're running around wondering what's going on. You can tell them. You had over $100,000 in your account, and it's gone, and they told you it's the trustees have it. So they're using it for their bankruptcy. So Forbes and others are asking, what does this have to do with their bankruptcy? You know, it's been secured to pay, I guess, for other expenses of MF Global. Isn't that just special, Gerald?
Yeah, but this is what they do. It's a criminal operation. Like I said to the guy when he told me this news, I said, who decided this? Meyer Lansky and Al Capone? You're giving me this line of baloney? Oh, the guys decided to put it with a trustee? This is my money out of my account. It's like going into your bank and taking the money out of your account. It's as simple as that. And again, I've been doing this since 1978. This has never happened before in all of the trading of commodities since I've known about it. This is unprecedented. And there are businesses that are going under because of how they've been leveraging out to secure future prices. You know, fortunately, I don't want to lose this money, but it's not going to ruin me. It's ruining a lot of people. Oh, yeah. Some people, it's their whole savings. And when some local scam artist does it, they go to the pen for 20 years. When these guys do it, we just found a law firm. It's hurting me a lot. But it just doesn't bring me down. And I've worked hard for this money. And there have been times in my life when I've had nothing. I've had my bad. No. You sacrificed to build to where you are. So now they're taking my hard-earned money and they're giving Corzine a lot of beautiful space in the newspapers that the public relations firms that he hires say what a wonderful guy he is. As I said, the SOB would have been better off dead in that car accident he was in rather than ruin so many people's lives, because he's another one of those greedy money junkies who's worth an estimated, according to the reports, $500 million. But $500 million wasn't enough. Didn't get him up there with the other money junkies, did it? So he had to go pull off this major scam. Where's the money, and how come we're not getting it? Why was it robbed from our accounts? There's no reason for it. And let's be clear, you weren't invested in the MF Demon Global. You had another company that you invested with. It was your account. They came and took that company over and then sucked the money out. And breaking, this just came out on Bloomberg, there's now a law firm has filed suit today. We'll put it back up on screen, a big high-powered group. They were on Bloomberg in New York. So this is big. They've angered a lot of people. This is Bernie Madoff type stuff. Tibbetts, Keating, and Butler, LLC New York, and Connecticut-based law firm is now representing clients in the matter of MF Global's bankruptcy and the improper seizure of clients' segregated funds. And again, you read into the article from Bloomberg, they're admitting this is like robbing a bank account. They are now bank robbing people, as you said on RT today. That's right, Alex, and I've been saying on your show over and over and over again, and of course, I didn't think this was going to happen. I had no idea. Again, I've been dealing with this company for years. And it wasn't like, they were running my money. It was just like opening a stock account with Schwab. No different than that. And then all of a sudden, your Schwab account is emptied out because Schwab stole your money. That's all I'm talking about, so I had no idea. But what I'm warning people, and I've been saying over and over again, mark my words, they're going to declare an economic martial law. They're going to steal your money just like they're stealing mine. And they're going to make up some bogus excuse like, oh, the Iranians, or the North Koreans, or Al-Qaeda, or Mother Goose, or somebody is going to be the reason why we're closing the banks. And they're going to devalue the dollar. And they've done it before under FDR in 1933, and they're going to do it again. Gerald Celente, I know you're going through a lot right now, not just having the 6 figures stolen, but if somebody came to my house and stole $10, it would make me mad. It's the violation. I mean, tell us briefly the timeline of when you learned this, the thoughts that went through your head. I mean, this is what you've been predicting, but it's actually hitting you. I mean, it's incredible. It's like Job or something. And then in closing, what you personally are planning to do, and any other closing comments about where you see things going, Gerald Celente. It happened last Monday, around 11 o'clock in the morning. And I got a call from the brokers saying that they wanted more money to cover my positions, my open positions, December contracts. And I said to him, I have plenty of money in my account. What are you, kidding me or what? And then he told me the deal about Lind-Waldock had been bought out by MF Global. And I didn't know that, didn't pay any attention. So every time I'd pick up the phone, to call them, place an account, Lind-Waldock, they'd answer the phone. So at first it hadn't really dawned that this heist was happening? No, and I never put the connection with MF Global. I knew about what was going on with MF Global, been reading about it, But yeah, I never put the connection together that it was my commodities account because I'm reading about this Corzine character dealing in bonds with buying European bonds.
Okay, so they string you along. Tell us about that. What was the play-by-play?
So now, so now he tells me I have to put money in my account. I said, I'm not going to put money in my account. You have my account. No, you don't have your account. Your account is now with a trustee. They closed out all my positions, and they took my money, and they're holding it.
And you got to love how they spin it. They take your 6+ figures and then spin it like, now give us more money. Like somehow you are in arrears.
Exactly. and even though I'm up on my contracts. So in other words, they closed out my contract, let's say at $1,767 an ounce, but I had bought it way, way lower than that. And now it's at $17.90. And they still want me to pay. It wasn't like I was losing on these accounts. They want more money. I said, I'm not giving you more money. Then we're closing out your account.
Yeah, by the way, I bet they went to all their clients and did that, and I bet they kept what you old ladies and stuff that got more in there. They probably snapped that up, and that's how the cons always work, and said, now give me more and you'll get it back. And then you give more in.
Exactly. So now I'm trying to get answers. Is the account insured? First they tell me yes, and then they tell me no. Commodities accounts are not insured. Where's my money? Well, it's with the trustee. You try calling the trustee and getting any answers. I have to hire a bankruptcy attorney. That's where I'm at now. So that's why I'm trying to get my money back. I'll probably get, some of it back. How much, I don't know. But the reality is they emptied out my account. It wasn't as though they were trading for me or I had invested my money in their investment fund. By
the way, you were on RT basically this morning, and now it's breaking today. I wonder if you going public on national news brought this out. This is just incredible. So it took you basically a week to go ahead and figure out what was happening and go public. And this can move so quickly if you study history as you've done. Who knows what's going on with other companies right now? Like you said, look at Europe. Gerald, do you have that feeling like we're standing at the edge of a cliff collectively?
No. I feel like we're standing under a building that's collapsing and it's going to crush us. That's what I feel. Look at the names that they give these clowns. They got this committee in Washington that's going to figure out our debt problem. A super committee. Super committee. I mean, who are they kidding? A bunch of political hacks that have been hanging around forever on the government dole. Look at the numbers that came out today. 200 and over half of the senators and congressmen are multimillionaires. What are you kidding or what? You don't have a representative form of government. Oh, by the way, this is breaking news. Do you know how I've been talking about direct democracy? And we put up the website, directdemocracynow.org.
Yes, months ago.
Pick up yesterday's Financial Times, an interview with Vladimir Putin. You know what he's calling for, the changes in Russia? Quote, direct democracy. That's right. Vladimir Putin in Russia is saying, let the people vote. That is a solution. That's our only solution. Because we have a gang of 535 that are telling us how to tie our shoes. The senators and congressmen.
Well, that was my final question, and we appreciate all your time. We're going to let you go, Gerald, and hopefully I can get you back up, say, Thursday or Friday to give us an update on this incredible story, maybe even tomorrow, but I plan to air this on the show tomorrow. What about, we know there's been insider trading in Congress, but now they've gone public and they say we're above the law. I mean, what about that? I mean, it's so crazy.
That's what I'm saying. And these are the people that are supposed to be representing us. You know, who made this up? How could any imbecile believe it? They don't represent us. They represent the people that stuff their pockets filled with cash. Look at that Dianne Feinstein. I want somebody out there to look up how much she was worth before she became Senator Feinstein and is now worth $60 million.
Well, Gerald, look at, I mean, in closing, look at Pelosi, in a 2-year period, had a 69% increase in her wealth when the general public's wealth went down by over 20%. It's incredible. Gerald, again, they will be brought to justice, though. The good news is these hubris-filled crooks are going to keep pushing till they finally destroy themselves. I mean, do you have any doubt that in the final equation, these banksters are going to be in some kind of financial Nuremberg trial like Madoff?
Not in the current system that it is now. Only if the people stand up and take a position. But again, you know, I'm all in favor of a peaceful revolution. And you know, as I said, let's start with the spirit of Christmas and move from there forward.
All right. Well, we appreciate you joining us, and I look forward to speaking to you later. Gerald, we've had it up on screen while you've been on, but what's the best of the 2 URLs for folks to visit and get your incredible news alerts and also the trends forecaster?
Trendsjournal.com, trendsjournal.com, and we're updating every day as we move through this as well. So I'd love to update with you too, Alex.
Well, you should be on every channel. I mean, you've been on every channel. They should have you on every live show right now.
They don't want me on. Because who are they? Look who NBC just hired to be a correspondent. Chelsea Clinton.
Oh.
What more do you need?
And look who she's married to, one of these bankers.
Yeah, and what credentials she has, you know? Yeah, connected credentials. They don't want me on.
And she's married to one of the big loan sharks. I mean, it's government for and by loan sharks. Incredible. Gerald Celente, thanks for spending time with us.
Thank you, Alex.
I mean, it is hard to believe that this is happening, but it's admitted. And they just report it like, oh, they took all these people's money out of their personal accounts. Still a big deal. This is part of the insanity that we live under when we allow crooks to run things just because they're wearing fancy suits and have names like Henry Paulson. You saw the geoengineering chemtrail special report tonight. You saw what's happening with the honeybees dying off. And now Gerald Celente having his bank account robbed of 6+ figures. It is incredible. We'll be back tomorrow on the radio, breaking this down 11 a.m. Central, and we'll be back, of course, tomorrow night here for Infowars Nightly News. We couldn't do any of this without your subscriptions, your support, all the things you're doing. That's why we've ramped up in the face of the depression and the global takeover, because we know that we've got to meet this threat. And we know that as the tyranny gets worse and worse, more and more people are going to be ready to wake up. Thank you for your support, and please spread the word about Infowars.com, about Gerald Celente and his work, about the nightly news. And if you're watching these videos out there in cyberspace, send them to your email list, post them on Facebook, send them out on Twitter. They're wanting to censor the web. These criminals want to bring in draconian control to protect themselves from the people. We've got to use the internet while it's still here. They're openly talking about shutting us down right now. We're risking our lives to bring you this information because we know we've got a fighting chance to beat these people. And I will not have the alternative of living on my knees as a slave. It's victory or death. I'm Alex Jones. This has been the November 15th Marathon Edition 2011 of Infowars Nightly News. Great job, crew.